kind of an April Fool's joke, so to speak. I played the wrong intro. Welcome to another marvelous episode of Overreaction Monday. I am the governor of college football, and with me, as always, is a guy that needs no introduction. My guy D Now, man, he pulls a lot of strings behind the scenes. The senator of college football. What's happening, D Now? How you doing, brother?
Not much. I mean, I got big shoes to fill in for our guy Nino, so I'm gonna try my hardest.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like like riding a bike. It's normally three of us on Mondays anyway. I think this might be the first episode, which is me and you. So shout out to
Yeah, I think so.
I know you don't get much time off, much vacation time.
Yeah,
So
he
he's
deserves
off.
it. So.
How you been, brother? You been doing okay?
Yeah, like I was saying in the green room, finally a lull in the kids' action, so I'm enjoying it.
I mean, that's got to be nice, brother.
Oh yeah.
So we got a lot to talk about today. I really didn't want to play around at all. I wanted us to get into some superlatives. We do them quite often, and some of the superlatives I wanted to get into, I wanted to talk about our top 10 quarterbacks. It's something that I've seen a lot of people do recently. Everybody's getting into, who their top quarterbacks are. And we're going to get to it. So, D, now, who are your top 10 quarterbacks?
I think we can both agree 1A, 1B,
Mm,
Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, obviously. Number three, I got Drew Aller, Penn State. Kind of prototypical quarterback. If he can
mm,
take that next step, he might even become that 1C sort of category. And then I got Lenora Sellers, South Carolina, DJ Lagway, Florida, John
mm,
Mateer, Oklahoma. I'm kind of excited to see what he can do in the SEC. And then
mm.
I got Arch Manning. And number eight, I got Haynes King, Georgia Tech.
Wow. I like that one. That's different.
He showed how important he was for Georgia Tech. Those couple games that he wasn't 100% healthy. So I had to give him his flowers. Then I got Sam Levitt, Arizona State. I think he's going to take that next step, kind of keep Arizona State relevant, especially with their wide receiver room.
For sure.
Um, and then number 10, 11, I told you I had an extra one. I could flip flop either of these. I'm going to go Rocco Beck, Iowa State. I think he's a dark horse for the Heisman this year, as much as it hurts to say as a Hawkeye fan.
Mhm.
I got to give him his credit. I think he could be a sneaky end of the first, early second draft pick if he lives up to the hype. And then my dark horse, I'm going to throw Blake Horvath from Navy in there. He was on pace, had he not gotten hurt, to be potentially the fourth or fifth quarterback in all of college football history to pass for 1,500, run for 1,500. He had double digit passing and rushing touchdowns. He like single handedly dragged Navy to where they were last year. And I mean, he showed up for the bowl game against the powerhouse Oklahoma, even though they were down a little bit. Oklahoma should have outclassed them. So I had to give him his credit.
I like your list a lot, and it's cool seeing Blake Horvath get some credit. I think he made Moon's top 10
Oh, did he?
quarterback. Yeah, he did. And then you look at what Navy has got going on. I think they have the highest return on production in the AAC this upcoming season. So I like that. So go ahead and recap your 1 through 10 one more time.
Yep. Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Drew
Mhm.
Aller, Lenore Sellers, DJ Lagway, John Mateer, Arch Manning, Haynes King, Sam Levitt, Blake Horvath, Rocco Beck.
I like
Kind of
that
flip
list.
those last two.
That's a solid list. So my list, you'll see a lot of the similar names. I think we got about six maybe of the same names in our list. I just have a couple different names in my list because there's probably quarterbacks that I'm much higher on than a lot of people. So I got Garrett Nussmeier at one, and I'm giving Garrett Nussmeier a lot of credit because like when I hear people hyping people the way that like Nino and Andy were hyping Garrett Nussmeier last year, I wanted every reason to believe like this kid isn't as good as
Oh,
advertised.
I was there with you.
Yeah, and I saw a couple games. I said, "Damn, this kid's good."
Yeah,
Yeah, interceptions were high. 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He has to get that down. And the only thing that fears me and him being my Heisman pick, him being my Davey O'Brien watch list pick, is the fact that Brian Kelly is his head coach. Like, I don't know if I'm too hard on Brian Kelly. I don't know what it is about Brian Kelly, but brother, I
he
don't know.
shits the bed when it matters
Yeah,
the most.
yeah, he does, and that bothers me. Cade Klubnik, like you said, 1A, 1B, interchangeable. You know, choose your poison. It's that type of thing. But Cade is dynamic. I think that him and Garrett Riley, best quarterback coordinator duo, I think in all of the sport. And they're getting comfortable. Dabo is showing everybody he can do it his way. So I have him at number 2. John Mateer at number 3. I have high hopes for Oklahoma this year, even with their tough schedule. I think Brett Venables been defensive minded, going to go get a stud offensive coordinator like Ben Arbuckle. I like that pairing. Drew Aller at number 4. Why is Drew Aller so hated? Like I feel like this kid, like,
I think it's just because
is
he
it James
hasn't
Franklin?
done.
Like what is it?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that plays a part of it, and then he hasn't done what everyone thought he was gonna.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been that breakout quarterback. They've kind of relied on the running back duo that they have,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I think it also they don't have that stud wide receiver that Klubnik has, that Nussmeier has, and I think that may also like not as many eyes on him.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you talk to a lot of draft people, he would have been number 2 this year had he actually come out. So I
Right.
mean, obviously, I hate to say us as the general pop may not be
Right.
as high on him, but the guys that matter obviously see the potential.
Yeah, he definitely has pro potential. I mean, he's only thrown what 2 interceptions the last 2 years because I think he only threw 2 in 2023, and he
Yeah, I
threw
think so.
8 this past season. So, he's definitely doing his thing, and I like Drew Aller a lot, and I'm big on Penn State this year. If James Franklin can show up,
If James Frank, yeah,
yeah,
him and Brian Kelly are in
yeah,
that same
yeah,
boat.
they right there, like you said, interchangeable. Sawyer Robinson, I think I'm higher on Sawyer Robinson than everybody else. This kid's got talent. Uh, Baylor, he's got a lot of talent. They're loaded in the wide receiver room. I like Trigg at tight end. I like them a lot. So I got Sawyer Robinson at 5. Lenore Sellers at 6. What can't he do? Um, that the question is, I love the coach Shane Beamer. I think if I'm going into somewhere and I want to fight and I want to bring a coach with me, Shane Beamer's coming with me.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I believe in him that much. Like
he
the
showed
way
that
he
against
was,
Illinois.
man, he was ready to put hands on Brett
Yep.
Bielema, man. He was so ready. So I like him a lot. Number 7, I got Avery Johnson. I'm a big Avery Johnson fan, even though I was disappointed in Kansas State last year.
Mhm.
Noah Fafita disappointed me last year because I think he made my top 10 quarterback list last year, but it wouldn't surprise me if North Fafita and Arizona right at the ship, and they could be that surprise team in the Big 12 this year. Josh Hoover, TCU, number 8. We saw Tennessee try to reach out and grab him illegally because it was 100% tampering because he was not in the portal. And they did the same thing with Avery Johnson. They was throwing money at people, and these kids stay loyal to the soil. I'm interested. There's a lot of great games week 1. And I think we get a really good one between TCU and North Carolina. I kind of want to see where Hoover is, where Sonny Dykes is, where Bill Belichick is, where Gio Lopez is. I'm excited. I'm really excited for that game. You and I both, Rocco Beck. I think you were the first person I heard really speak highly of Rocco Beck. And so when you guys speak, I do listen. And I watched a lot of his games last year. I'm a huge fan of his. 48 touchdowns, 17 interceptions over the last 2 seasons. I love him rushing touchdowns as well over the last 2 seasons. And then Luke Altmaier. Luke Altmaier was a guy I didn't like. I couldn't stand Luke Altmaier. I promise you I couldn't stand him. But seeing how he played last year, poised moments, games that they have every reason to lose, they didn't lose. I think about the Rutgers game last year and that beautiful dot to Pat Bryant. I think about the Nebraska game where Nebraska, their fan base is always going to show up on the road. It was a weekday game. I think like a Friday night game, biggest game on TV that night, and he delivered. So that's my top 10. Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, John Mateer, Drew Aller. This is all interchangeable. Sawyer Robinson, I think, is the one I'll get the most heat for. Lenore Sellers, Avery Johnson, Josh Hoover. Probably get some heat for him too. Rocco Beck, Luke Altmaier, notably DJ Lagway isn't in this, even though I'm high on Florida this year. I got Florida making the SEC championship this year. I think they got the best offensive line in college football, and they got players on the outside. He probably deserves to be in here. Arch probably deserves to be in here, but he just didn't have the snaps that they have. Carson Beck could be in here. I'm just not buying Mario Cristobal, and I'm just not buying Carson Beck stock. What you
Yeah,
got in Cam Ward, you're not getting in Carson Beck.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Just from
yeah.
a leader perspective.
Timmy ain't gonna carry
Mm-mm,
Miami very far
mm-mm,
this year. I
mm-mm,
almost had Altmaier in my top 10.
mm-mm.
Um, but I think what turned me off was the Penn State game. He had that
Yes.
opportunity to put them
Mm.
away,
You did right
big
before the half,
upset.
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
And he fumbled the bag there. So,
I agree.
and then Avery Johnson, I really wanted to put him in
Mm,
Debbie Darling that we did. He just didn't take the
You
step
guys
this
hit
year that I thought he
a lot
was.
on Debbie Darlings, by the way. You guys hit on Debbie
Yeah, we
Darlings.
had Hoover, we
Mm,
had
mm.
Avery Johnson. But yeah,
Caden Durham. You guys have had a
yeah.
lot of great players that really popped. I'm like, damn,
So Johnson
they don't
just
miss.
didn't take that step as
He
a
did.
quarterback
He
passing
did.
wise that I
Mm-mm.
wanted him to take. And I think that's what put him outside the
Especially when
top
they
10
chose
for
him
me.
over Will Howard, and then Will Howard goes to Columbus
Yeah.
in the
And then
championship.
wins an
So
at it. Yeah.
yeah.
I will say, didn't even think of Sawyer Robertson.
Mm.
And then who was the other one that I didn't have that you had? Um, Hoover.
Hoover,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm curious to see how he rebounds because he lost a lot of weapons on the outside.
Yeah, he
Uh,
did. He did.
yeah, Williams, Beck, those big guys. So I could see him cracking the top 10 at the end of the season. I just got
Mm.
to see how he plays with the new weapons.
Right, I agree. And TCU seem to be able to get playmakers on the
Mhm.
outside, and Rocco Beck has lost a lot of talent on the outside as well. So
Yeah.
it's certainly scary, but Matt Campbell. I called Matt Campbell out last year. I feel like he answered the call, even with them getting embarrassed in the Big 12 championship last year. Um, they were right there. It was for the taking. So let's get into your top 8 wide receiver duos. I think I have a good idea of where your head is here. But that's
So,
I'm sorry. We're gonna do running backs and then wide.
okay.
I'm so excited to hear
Nope,
your
you're
wide
good.
receiver duos. So who's your top 5 running backs?
All right, I'm going to go Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame. Averaged 6.9 yards per carry last year, almost 1,200 yards rushing, 17 touchdowns. I mean, he single-handedly was almost their offense because Riley Leonard was kind of up and down.
He
Yeah, he
missed.
got hurt in the playoffs. Had he been 100%, I think I'm not saying they would have won, but the game might have been a little bit more even.
Mhm.
So he's obviously my number one. Number two, I'm going to go Isaac Brown out of Louisville.
Let's go.
So as a freshman, he had 7.11 yards per carry. As a freshman in a Power Five or Power Four conference ACC, he was arguably one of their best offensive weapons. Um, he had 117 against SMU, 72 against Notre Dame, 146 against Virginia, 151 against Clemson, and then 178 against Kentucky. Um, I would not be surprised if he somehow finished the country as the leading rusher. I think he is electric. He's complete back. Like you don't have to worry about him in the passing game. So you can play all 3 downs. My number 3 I have is Caden Durham out of LSU. They lost a lot of guys that he was carrying or that splitting carries with, so I think he's going to pick up a lot of slacks. And I think he even had 140 carries, if I'm not mistaken, splitting time. But the number 2 guy had almost 120 himself.
Right.
So I think
That's a lot of
he's going to
production on
go
last year.
well over 1,000 yards this season.
He got that
Um,
pop too. He make one man miss, he will go.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
he can catch. He's got soft
Mhm.
hands. So like I've seen some where they put him in the slot even. So like
Wow.
he's
That's crazy.
dynamic.
I'm had to do that
Um
for football 26.
yeah. My my next guy is Makai Hughes, Tulane running back to Oregon. 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns, and that was with the American
Mm.
offensive line. When you go to a power forward like with some hog mollies like Oregon, I'm terrified to see what those numbers could be, especially with Oregon's offense, which is the RPO option
Mm.
based. Yes, I know he's going to split carries, but I'm not too concerned. My next one is let's see, that was 3. Dylan Edwards, Kansas State. We saw him emerge last year. A
I
little
didn't
over,
even think about Dylan Edwards. That's a great pick, brother.
he had a little over 6 yards per carry last year. Again, we saw their entire offense took a step back, but I think the him and Avery Johnson maturing, I think I see those numbers going a little bit
I think
better.
both of their rushing yards will go up this year.
Yeah. Which is going to have to if Avery Johnson again can't
I agree.
develop as a passer.
I agree.
And then my number 5, I had Jonah Coleman, Washington. Um, there was a long debate last year of who was the best running back in the Big Ten. Was it Caleb Johnson? Was it Jonah Coleman? A lot of people have said this year or last year, was he eligible to come out? He would have probably been a
Mhm.
late second, early third up there. Um, I think he is the perfect kind of running back for Jed Fish's offense. I would not be surprised if he crosses 1,500, especially with Williams being a younger quarterback, having to take a little bit more time to mature and get his flow with the offense. They're going to rely pretty heavily on him. And they showed towards the end, it doesn't matter if you have 8 guys in the box. Jonah Williams is still going to get his yards. So those are my 5. If I got to recap, Jeremiah Love, Isaac Brown, Mekhi Hughes, Jonah Coleman, and who was the other one? Sorry. Dylan Edwards. Sorry.
Yep, Dylan Hours. Wow, I like that list. That's a solid list. So I agree with you. I'm right there with you with Love, and that too. I'm right there with you with Brown. I mean, those are the 2 guys I've talked up a lot. I'm actually doing a segment on Governor College Football tomorrow on Louisville, and Isaac Brown will be a huge talking piece on the show. At number 3, give me Katron Allen. I prefer Katron Allen over Nick Singleton. And I'm probably in
After
outlier.
this year, he was the better back of the 2 this year.
Yeah, because I think Nick Singleton has more pop, but as far as consistency is concerned, I'll take Katron Allen. After that, give me Wisner, kid from Texas. I thought he showed out last year, and that was on limited carries. So give me him, and then I'm gonna be kind of not a homer, but kind of a homer a bit. Give me Jadarian Price. I think Jadarian Price. I
I
think
was
he's
just
so
calling.
damn good, bro. Like you look at what Notre Dame was able to do, and think about it. Mike Denbrock went from LSU pass heavy offense, led the nation in scoring 2022, 2023 with Jaden Daniels at the helm. Comes to Notre Dame 2024, Riley Leonard at quarterback, pretty much nothing on the outside because that was our talks. You remember the debates you, Nino, and I were having in our chat that Notre Dame doesn't really have anybody for Leonard to throw the ball to. So how well will they fare? Well, Marcus Freeman had a defense plan right. Mike Denbrock were like, I got 2 good running backs and I got a quarterback who could be my third running back. We
Yep.
gonna run the ball and we gonna figure this thing out. And then almost, they almost won the title last year with that philosophy. So Jadarian Price, I don't think gets enough love, man. I know he rushed for 800 yards as a number 2 option. He's number 1 on probably 92, 93% of the teams out there.
Absolutely.
I just think if he had the same amount of carries, he's up there with the best of them, man. So, yes.
I'm right there with you. He is in my top 10.
Mhm.
I will say Allen, uh, I didn't have in my top 5 because I think he's so reliant on Singleton
He
taking the
is. That's
punch 1 and 2.
mhm.
Then he gets in on the third and he's either the gas play outside or a little dump
Right.
pass. So that's the only reason I didn't put him in my top 5.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I'm interested to see where he goes in NFL, and I'm hoping that he's paired with the right back because I'm not sure if he'll ever be a 1 at the next
Yeah,
level, which kind of sucks. But I think he can be one of those guys that give you a lot of pop. Like I said, I like Katron Allen a lot. I'm interested to see what Andy Kotelnicki does this year, and I hope they're more aggressive, man. Like there was games like
they
Ohio
gotta
State.
be.
They had him on the ropes, bro, but they played
Mhm.
scared. They played not to lose, and you know what
So
happens when you play
another
not to
thing
lose.
is like they can't do that wishy-washy rotate the quarterbacks like they tried to do last year. Like it
That was
has to
terrible.
be Aller or nothing.
Right. I agree. 100%. The gadget plays like let's just play football, take shots. You got the wide receiver core this year.
Mhm.
Let's make some plays. So I love your list. Top 8 wide receiver duos. I'm interested to hear who you have on this. I think I'm pretty sure 1, 2, or 3 will probably agree with.
Yeah, probably.
Mhm.
The top 3, maybe. Well, I'll start with top 2 are pretty cut and
Mhm.
paste. I'm going Ohio State number 1. They got
Mhm.
Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Quincy Porter, who
Mhm.
a lot of people are high on. Brandon Innes, I think maybe the start the season as the 3. He might end up getting replaced as Porter comes along. Number 2, I got Alabama, Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton coming in from Miami.
Mhm.
Um, Number 3, I'm going Oregon with Evan Stewart, Gary Bryant Jr., Jerrion Dickey, DeCorian Moore. I know our guy Nino's super high on
Mhm.
him. He
Yeah,
looks
that's
like a
okay.
stud.
Mhm.
Number 4, I got Florida, Eugene Wilson, MJ Sturdivant, Dallas Wilson, who I
He
think
showed
is
out this
this
spring,
year's
bro.
Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a genetic freak. Number 5, I'm going LSU, Barian Brown, Thomas.
He got
Destin
somebody that
Hill.
can throw him the ball, bro. He's got
Yeah,
leg speed, man.
he's got like if he could line up 6 wide at wide receiver, like
Mhm.
it'd be stupid. Number 6, I'm going Clemson with Wesco Williams.
Thank you. Clemson getting the respect that they deserve. I love it.
7, I'm going Auburn with Thompson, Coleman, Singleton. They could probably jump. It's Auburn's offense. I think,
You waiting to see. I
yeah,
agree because we
they're my
saw some
guys who
ugly
could
ball
jump
out of
up
Auburn
into
last
the
year.
top 3 or 4
Mhm.
if the ball actually gets to where it has to go.
Mhm.
And then number 8, I'm going Georgia. Colby Young, Landon Humphreys, if he can fix his yips, and Branch, who came in from USC.
I love it, man. Go ahead and recap it for everyone.
Yep. Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, Florida, LSU, Clemson, Auburn, Georgia.
Beautiful. So I have at one, I have Auburn, surprisingly. I really love their
I
wide
don't hate it.
receiver core. And this is a ceiling based thing. Like this, they have to hit the ceiling. They don't hit the ceiling. I look crazy. 100%. And number 2, I have Alabama. Really love their wide receiver core. I did a deep dive with them today. Ohio State's 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say over wide receiver you.
For sure. And it's crazy because Jeremiah Smith is the best receiver in all of college football.
Yeah.
That's a given. It's what was bothering me when I was knee deep in this rabbit hole. I'm looking at 2s and I'm looking at 3s. I'm like,
So
who
okay, so
these
you
is better?
think Isaiah Horton is better than Carnell Tate?
That's a tough one because Tate played well last year.
Yeah.
He played really well last year. But Isaiah Horton was pivotal for Miami in a lot of
Oh,
tough spots.
absolutely.
It depends on the day, brother. It truly depends on the day. Today I will take Horton. Tomorrow I will probably take Tate. It just truly depends on the day.
All right.
And what else? Three was Ohio State.
Yep. So you're on 4.
Four LSU. Agree with what a lot you said, and for some reason I think I read it wrong, so I only did 5. And then I agree with you with Oregon at 5. So those are my top 5 wide receiver duos. I'm excited for this next topic. D, now I don't know how you find the information you find. I feel like I shout you out every episode of Governor College Football because some of the stuff you find on it, I truly don't know. Like you always breaking college football news to us. Furthermore, like the image you sent us earlier was priceless. I'm not gonna say what it was, but it was priceless, bro. Like I'd buy
the hard copy if that was.
Me too. Yeah. I want one of those.
It'd be like right there.
Yeah, it really would be. So you found this really interesting story a few days ago. It was like an AI generated promotion demotion relegation tiered system that I thought was pretty interesting. Now, how I don't know if I ever explained how I met Moon and Jalen, but I used to stream NCAA 14. It's just like during COVID when everybody was streaming the game, and then the revamp crew came around and I started playing the revamp version of the game. But I met them through streaming because we all had a love for college football and I was just playing the game. And they would just give me like these crazy like storylines. Well, use an HBCU team, play on these sellings, do like a relegation dynasty. So that's how I met all of them. I met all of them through gaming, and then we all shared, interest in sports and college football. And then it just blossomed to, what it blossomed to. So seeing this is crazy. So the Premier Division, 24 teams, 2 divisions, 12 teams in, each division, championship game, no playoff, BCS style, which I really like. Bottom 3 teams relegated. So this is the computers are voting. If you are, one of the best 2 teams, you will end up in the championship. I love the Premier Division. Championship division. So that's kind of like the older way, the way that we know with the BCS. Championship division will be the middle class of the sport, and middle class has to be great. I think in anything you do, whether that's your economy, whether that's sport, the middle class has to be great. So it'll be 32 teams with 4 pods of 8. So that's 32 teams total. Pod winners will have a 4-team playoff. Top 3 teams get promoted. They will go up to the Premier Division, and then the last team in each pod gets relegated. This is crazy. National Division. This is 40 to 48 teams, 5 or 6 18 pods, 12-game regular season. National playoff featuring 8 teams, Final four teams are promoted. So it was crazy because I think you had sent me this, and then it was either a day or two. I was thinking about a G5 playoff because I think G5 really needs a playoff. Still seeing their one team to play with the big boys, whether it's in a 12 team or 16 team. But I think a G5 playoff would be just give so much more revenue and give more meaning to bowl games. Like some of these bowl games can cover the G5 playoff. But seeing this, I like this a lot. So how you feeling about this overall? What were your first thoughts when you first came across this?
I mean, I'm right there with you. I growing up played college football, watched guys
Mm,
who played college football, and they would always do the regular, I can't even say relegated system.
mm, mm,
And I love the idea.
mm.
It gives the lower programs a chance to actually grow.
Right.
I think and potentially become like a power school per
Mm.
se, I mean, like James Madison, like Liberty now, they're kind of on the cusp of being perennial
Yeah.
10, 11 win teams every single, and it would actually mean something if they continue down that path. Or you got teams like, I'll use Boise State in the early 2000s. Had they won their 10 games, 12 games undefeated every single year with Chris Peterson, watching them go from this bottom tier to 2, 3 years later, they're now in the premier division,
Mm.
becoming a powerhouse. So I love the idea of giving, and as corny as it sounds, it gives the underdog a
It
fighting
does.
chance to
We
actually
all love
become
an
something.
underdog story.
Yeah.
Wow. So my first thought when I seen this is yeah, it instantly took me back to the video game. Like, I love college football and I love college football video game. And like I said, it was 2020, middle of COVID. Everybody started playing NCAA 14. I don't know how it happened. It was crazy, but I met a lot of good people playing it. So which division, before I get into the next question, which division do you think will be the most interesting to watch? Of course, the Premier Division, we're talking about the who's who of the sport,
Hmm.
but that championship division will be very interesting to me for some reason.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Obviously the premier's going to have
Mm,
the big dogs, but that championship, the guy's just on the cusp of becoming a big dog, like an Iowa State this year
mm,
or an Arizona
right. Or
State.
Arizona State a year ago.
So like I think, yeah, just to see the total chaos that could come and just watch them cannibalize each other. I mean, every Saturday, who wouldn't want to watch that? But then even the national division, if you could watch a team that would end up there, like an App State, let's say,
Mhm.
just fight their way if they got to play like a non-conference against a championship or premier division team, something like that. Like even as it is today, you always want to see the little dogs have a fighting chance, or just like the Rocky story, watching someone go from nothing to something. I mean, I'd be curious to see that storyline too. Just the winner of the national division if they can make it to the premier the following season. So definitely the bottom two, I would probably be a little bit more invested in until the championship aspect of the Premier Division.
Alrighty. So how would this impact transfer portal and NIL? So like if you're in like national, I'm sorry, Premier Division programs can only transfer to Premier Division programs or Championship Division. Like how would that work? Like how do you think it would impact it?
Um, I feel like that would be the only way you could impact it,
Mm,
because otherwise, I feel like it's going to be literally what we have today.
right.
The stud of the national division is going to try to go to a premier or a championship team
Mm.
just to get their
Yeah,
name
everybody
brand
trying to
out
move up
there.
like they're doing now.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you did relegate it to you could only transfer within your division, I think that might be pretty interesting because I mean, you don't see it much nowadays, but star quarterback of a team or the backup quarterback of the whoever won the national division is playing that same team the next season. Like sort of that rivalry start to
Right. The
form.
storylines behind it.
Yeah. So I think that would be the only way that you could impact it to make it different than what it is now.
Alrighty, so we've laid the outline and the foundation that this AI generated relegated system will do. And by the way, I am 100% doing this in college football
Oh
26.
yeah.
If I wasn't burnt out on college football 25 because I want to see the new rosters and there's no changes you can make, and
Mhm.
rightfully so because the players were paid, so I'm burnt out on it. I can't wait for college football 26 to do something like this. But what changes would you make?
Um, I don't know. if I would make much of a change, I think the only thing I would potentially change is maybe just two divisions.
Okay.
Um, like I've said this before on the show, I'm a huge fan of the FCS playoff system. They got 24 teams, four
Mhm.
brackets. I'm a huge fan of that. So if you have the Premier Division kind of do their own thing, and then the Championship and the National Division kind of just merge and make one massive playoff at the
Wow, that'd be
end,
cool.
like 24, like the FCS does,
Mhm.
I'd be all about that.
I'm trying to think of the changes I will make. I really love the setup of the Premier Division. It's simple. It's
I mean,
straightforward.
it's almost what we have now. It's
It
just
it,
taking
it,
the big dogs
it
and letting
is.
them do their own thing.
So let's go rapid fire real quick. I'm going to name a team. You tell me what division you think they'll be in. What level would they be in? Premier, Championship, or National? Alrighty, our Hawkeyes.
Ooh, I knew you were going to do this too.
Yeah, it's an easy answer.
I think honestly, I think they'd be in the Premier.
They'll be in the Premier. No
Over the
doubt they'll
last
be in the Premier.
20 years, they've been pretty consistent,
Yeah.
9 to 10 wins. So yeah, I'm not saying they'd be
4-1
their
seasons in
top.
the last decade. Come on,
I
man. They're
think
in the
they'd
Premier.
probably be a top 20 in the Premier division.
Auburn.
Just because the name, I think they'd be a Premier division.
You got Auburn in the Premier?
Yep,
I think they'll be in Championship.
I could
We'll
see
come
that
back.
too.
We'll
I
come,
think
we'll come back to Auburn.
okay,
Alrighty. So I'll give you some give me's. Ohio State,
Premier,
Texas,
Premier.
Penn State.
See this one, I'm kind of on the fence.
Uh-oh.
I could see them being the top dog in the division, but I
Mhm.
could also see them being one of like the last 10 in the
You
Premier.
think they could get relegated in
Yeah,
the war tier?
I'll give them Premier, but I think
Mhm.
they would be a fringe relegated team.
I like okay. Arizona State.
Championship,
Championship. I agree 100%. Iowa State.
championship.
Florida. I have no clue.
I
That's
think
what
I would put them as the championship just because
championship.
they've been down for the last 5, 6 years.
Mhm.
Like if we were going 15 years ago, they'd easily be a Premier division.
Yeah, they
But
easily be premier.
right now, I think championship.
I think will we put the entire MAC in national or would Toledo be in championship?
I think, yeah, I think Toledo would be one of the championship teams, and
Mhm.
then the rest would be
Rest of them.
national.
And I know Miami of Ohio will be on
They'd be a fringe.
maybe,
They'd be,
maybe. Yeah,
yeah.
they'll be friends. They'll be friends as well. So where you at with Miami? Regular Miami.
Um, I think they're a championship team.
I agree.
They've
I
been
couldn't
kind of
agree
middle
more.
of the road the last two
Mhm.
decades, so
Clemson,
a premier.
premier.
Yeah,
Oregon, we both agreed that they're premier.
yeah,
Georgia's premier.
yep.
I'm trying to think of a team who's kind of like middle of the road there. Florida was a really good one. Where would you put Louisville?
I'd put them as a championship.
I would too. I would too.
I could have seen them like I think they're a solid championship, and then like the
Mhm,
Lamar years, they may have had the chance to move up to the
mhm.
premier. But I think even after that, they may have been relegated as one of the lower ones. So I
Yeah.
think they're a solid championship.
Florida State.
I think they're a championship.
I agree.
Just they've been up and down consistently. So
And the final question I have about this AI generated system, which I like a lot, is this doable? And what happened to the conferences?
um, it's totally doable.
Okay.
I mean, there's been talks where the big dogs want to form their own championship
Yeah.
game and let everyone else do their thing. So it's
Yeah. They
it's
want
not
to.
out of the realm that this
It's,
could
yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, but I think it would have to come back to kind of like I don't know again if they would go to the three divisions. I think it would be the big dogs have their championship, everyone else has their championship.
Right.
So again, FCS playoffs, just do it 24 teams. It's worked for them for X amount of years
For a long time. Yeah.
without adding or subtracting teams. That's kind of just where I want it to go. If they did do it, what would happen to the conferences? Obviously, the 24, or however many they were, would be one conference, I think,
Right.
and you
It will
kind
have
of,
to be.
and then everyone else, I think you could kind of keep within the conferences they are now, so you could have an actual like conference schedule, or make it as even as possible. So, like if you play, everyone plays each other once, so you know
Mhm.
who the conference championship
Right.
is. Because the way the FCS does it too, they don't have a conference championship game with any of that. They immediately go from the last game of the season to
Straight
the
to the
playoffs,
playoffs. Mhm.
which I love. I mean, the only reason we have conference championship games now is for the money. So,
It is. It's
uh,
all TV dollars.
so I think you just do normal season. You can figure out who your champion is that way, and then straight into playoffs.
Mm. I like that a lot. I think it's doable as well, and I would have to agree with you with the conferences. I think the championship. I'm sorry. I think the Premier Division will primarily be made up of, probably the best 10 SEC teams, best 10 Big Ten teams, and then you're looking at those last four spots. The ACC and Big 12 will probably share those, and then the remaining teams from the SEC.
All
What
right,
would you
I
give
got a question for you.
Vanderbilt? Yeah, go ahead.
Ooh, okay, so I was going to do the same thing with you, but for a different team.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt, I honestly may put them as a national division
I
team.
think the national as well, even
And
with
I
less.
like, yeah, even with last year, just because I hate to say it, it might have been a fluke. And they were only 6-6, right?
Mm,
So I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't like
yeah,
they
it was only 6-6. Yeah.
were super special. So yeah, I'd put them as a national just because they've gone winless some seasons. So see, the team I was going to throw out to you was Michigan State. Because I mean, as of like the last couple of years, I think they're a firm championship. But if you
Uh,
throw in the D'Antoni years, I would put them as a premier.
I premiered during the D'Antoni years. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a really good one. That's a really good one. It, Championship, and go earn your keep in championship, and then you go be placed in premier. But you're right. There's a few years. Michigan State is a really good one. I'm trying to think of another one that's kind of like that.
you
You
want to
got
you
one?
want to circle back to Auburn? We said we were going to put
Yeah,
a pen
yeah,
in
yeah. Let's
Auburn.
circle back to
All right.
Auburn. So,
All right. So let's say 2000, we start this whole schedule.
mhm,
I would I would put them as a premier just
a
because
hundred
they had
percent.
Campbell, then they had Newton. Um, I think they would even like during the bad years would still be a premier.
Yeah,
Uh, I think
because you're right. Even after Cam, they had what's the kid named Nick Marshall.
yeah, and they still
Yeah,
made the championship game.
yeah, they did. So,
So if it wasn't for like the last few Nuss
mhm.
or Gus years, I think they're a firm
I like
premier.
that. I like that. I think you might have sold me on that. That they can certainly be a premier
All right,
division
so
team.
I got one for you.
All right.
Ole Miss. Are they a firm premier or are they like the top dog
I think they top dog in championship.
championship?
I think
Okay,
they
that's
top
what I
dog
was
in
thinking
championship.
too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we were both like Ole Miss is winning the Natty hands down,
It's yeah,
and
it was so frustrating, bro.
oh, 100%. They had all the opportunity, but
Mm,
I think they'd be like the top dog in the
yeah.
championship, fighting for that premier.
Right. Like I could see them winning the championship and then winning the championship division and then saying, "Hey, we are the real champions." Like kind of like with UCF
Like
tried
the
to do. Was that
UCF, that'd be another
2017?
one that could be
Yeah.
like, where do they lie?
Right. I, this is interesting. Like I said, I'm going to do this. I think I'll start a series when College Football 26 come out, doing this system
Yeah,
and seeing how it works. That'd be crazy. And I might not even play a game. It might just be sim style.
just watch it. Just watch
Yeah.
the chaos.
Yep. Just watch the chaos. Be like, yep, this team's getting moved. This team getting moved. You're going up. You're going. Yeah, that would be fun. That would
Oh
be
yeah,
fun. D-Now, man, it's been a fun episode, man. I can't believe
absolutely.
we're done with it already. Let everybody know where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, so you can find me Twitter dnow06. Debbie Darlings with our guy Nino. Um, exciting news too. I know I talked to KT in the green room before, but I'm going on kind of like an all access tour this up season. going to different colleges around the country. Week one's kind of already been locked in with Army, so I'm excited to go up there, especially as a military guy. But yeah, so just keep an eye out for all that.
I'm excited. I think this is the first season where I'm going to be able to fully focus on college football. No external distractions. I'm ready. I uh, I can't wait for emergency episodes where I don't care if I just went off air. We're hitting the live button and going right back on the air. If
Absolutely.
something crazy happens. So I can't wait, man. So I got a random question for you. What media days are you most excited for this year?
Okay, so I watched this on your show
Mm,
earlier. I think you might have sold me on. Uh, I'm gonna be terrible with conferences.
mm.
But the Delaware State,
Oh yeah, Mia. Yep.
yeah, MEAC. So I'm excited for that one, just because I want to see what Vic and Jackson
Yeah,
have to
I want to
say
see what that
as
looks like.
first year coaches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for obviously Big Ten because that's the
Mm.
conference I follow the most. I'm gonna try to be there because
You're
it's
right.
always in
You're
Chicago.
right there in the heart of it, bro. And it'll be dope if
Yep.
you're there, and then I'll be down at ACC.
Yeah.
Um.
You got me hyped for the HBCU.
mm.
I said on your show, I don't know if you saw it, but I want Moon or you to take me to a game this year. Um,
Oh, for sure. I
never
didn't see. I
never been to
gotta do
one.
better with the comments, man, because I don't have
So,
them up, and I
all
gotta do
good, but
better.
I want to feel like I go to a game obviously for the football,
Mm,
but like
mm.
HBCU, it's like it's
It's
everything.
it's
It's
crazy.
football, it's the band, it's the culture. Like I
What
need to like
school is it? You got to either go to a Howard game with me, but there's a school that Moon goes to,
Clark.
Clark, Atlanta, bro.
Yeah.
The red field,
I watch his videos when he goes there. So it like that's what's got
dude.
me hooked. Like I
Yeah,
gotta feel like the
yeah.
football culture
It's
come back
crazy.
to me
It's
more than the
crazy. The
game.
Greek, because the Greek life is crazy too. The fraternities come out and show out. So yeah, so the all access, and I think we need a show called All Access. By the way,
Yeah.
CFB Nation All Access, and we able to put this thing and put out an episode each week. That'll be really cool. So
And then obviously the Mac, just because it's my
mm,
backyard. So and
yes,
my
we
team
have a
happens
great
to be
relationship with them. I forgot about the Mac. I feel bad because we have
Yeah.
such a great relationship with them. We really do. I don't think there's a school in the Mac we can't go to at this point.
Oh no. Yeah. Uh,
Who do you think
I
will win the MAC this year?
I'm gonna go with Toledo. Like I hate to be a
Toledo.
homer, but they're
Mm,
returning. Like yeah, I know they lost Newton on the outside, but they're
mm.
almost returning everyone else
Yeah,
and Alexander on the D line. But Gleason's coming back. Dude was a stud. I think their game against Pitt in the bowl game showed what they can be. Like yes, we're missing our studs, but hey, we're still here and we can
mm.
play with anybody. So the only thing it would probably be just some hiccup game here or there. I think they'll make the championship. Another team I think that repeats is probably Miami with
I love them,
it within the
Miami,
MAC.
Ohio. Mm.
So those would be my two top teams.
I love it, man. This is Overreaction Monday. It's been a very fun episode. I'm telling you, talking to you on Moon and the ideas I have for this upcoming season, and the fact that I'm
We're,
not
we're
working, I
cooking
don't
over
care if
here.
my job seasons. I am not working doing that, and I'm telling you, I think we're really gonna reap the benefits of this because the more that they see our faces and the more that they see us, it that makes this thing come a reality, man. As I always like to say, there are no more victories in a sport that survive and advance. That's why college football has the greatest regular season. And until next time, y'all take care. Dino, has been a blast, man. Dino, has been a
Absolutely.
blast, brother. You have a good one. Let me not play the outro. We're just going to end the stream.